And at that point, I would like to call on our registrar, Mr. Jerry Pinkerton. You have some people that you want to install. Put you in front of the box.
Not good.
You want to stand there?
Stand up on the chairs.
That's it, okay.
Thanks, everyone. It's our privilege today to induct 2 new members and to introduce you to another member in the future. London.
What's your name?
London.
Yeah. So you'll be a member sometime soon. Okay, so our president is going to go through the ritual and show you the secret handshake.
And for those of you who haven't been through this before, I guarantee you that it's painless because Jerry did it for me. I would ask that the new inductees please raise their right hand. Compatriots, having been accepted as a member of the Dallas Chapter of the Texas Society of the Sons of the American Revolution, do you, as a descendant of one of the patriots and heroes of the American Revolution, reaffirm your ancestors' faith in the principles of liberty and our constitutional republic?
I do.
And will you pledge to support the patriotic, historical, and educational objectives of the National Society, Sons of the American Revolution?
I do.
I now take pleasure in presenting you your membership certificates, and you also will get your lapel pins. Oh, what a question, Tom. The color of the lapel pin is a buff, white, and blue. That represents the colors of the uniform that General George Washington wore during the Revolutionary War. We carry that on our lapel proudly. You'll see it at a lot of different places. There's a gentleman that came all the way from College Station that has his pin this morning, and I thank you for doing that. How about get the coins? Okay. One of the other things that we do for the new members, that's why I want to have a challenge coin for our chapter, is you get a challenge coin. Now, for those of you, again, who are unaware, this is a tradition that has gone on in many times in many places, a lot of it driven by the military. The story that we most often hear is about in World War I, where a gentleman volunteered for the service, went overseas, and was in the first wave of airplane pilots in the World War I. Got shot down. It just so happens he was shot down, but he had around his neck a little pouch with this coin that a bunch of the people in his squadron had gone together and said, we ought to at least have some kind of camaraderie. So all the pilots had the coin. He has it in his pocket or in his pouch, gets shot down and behind German lines and becomes a prisoner. He got repatriated over to the French. He didn't speak French. The French didn't know who he was, but he had this pouch. So they took the pouch and they opened it up, and there was this coin in there. They got him back to the American lines. And because of that, everyone now, particularly the people in the military, as a matter of fact, Marshal Scanlon has over 250 of these, great collection of these challenge coins, have been passing these out to compatriots for fellowship, friendship, but more importantly, this coin, when you're in the presence of anyone in this chapter, and someone says, let's have a beer, if you don't have your coin, you're buying the beer, okay? Congratulations.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you and welcome to the chapter.
If you would like to make a few comments.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Sure.
Close to the mic there.
History of your paper.
Right. The history of my patriot. Well, let's see. My patriot was a gentleman named Thomas May. He was born in Virginia, the son of a James May. Family lore has it that James May was actually fought in the French and Indian Wars, and then would later become a captain in the Revolutionary War. I give that a moderate possibility that it could have been the same James May, but there's no way to know for sure. Thomas May, on the other hand, following in his father's footsteps, when he became of age, joined up to the Revolutionary Army, and I can't remember the person he served under, the captain he served under at the time, but he did see some combat that woke him up, and he wisened up from that a little bit, and got discharged. Went back home for a little while, came back, served as a scout for the Revolutionary Army. After the Revolutionary War, he was given a big land grant near Asheville, North Carolina. He would become a logger and sold that land grant, moved to northwestern Alabama, where he lived out the rest of his life, and most of his sons and grandsons and great-grandsons stayed in that area, mostly in the logging business for many, many years. And unfortunately, this is the final proof that we had of his service. He did have to go and give an affidavit and go attend publicly to a Revolutionary War pension, where he had to admit that, I wasn't enlisted for the full 3 months that it took, but I was a scout. I did come back, and I was a scout for a while, and unfortunately that wasn't good enough for him, and they ended up denying him his pension. But that's it. That was his story, and he finished up his life in Fayette County, and is now buried in the Fayette County Cemetery in northwestern Alabama.
Very good. Thank you. With 3 generations of pounders, let's hear about it.
I know a lot of y'all are sitting there saying, oh great, another Pounders. You're right. So our patriot comes along from my grandfather's side, Frank. Thomas McSpadden. Thomas McSpadden was a very cultured man. He was a farmer, as much as a lot of our patriots here were. He actually served two terms in the Revolutionary War. He did one, and he fought in one of the companies, and they said, okay, you did your term, go home. He went home and tended his crops and immediately signed back in for a completely different section of the military. Fought his time, did that, actually ended up getting a little bit of land, but just went back to farming for a while until I believe he was in the War of 1812, where he got a large land grant out in Wilson County, Tennessee, where his grave resides.
Thank you, and welcome to Chad. Thank you, Jerry.
Thanks, Chad.
We'll take all the pounders we can get, trust me.
You don't want to say that.
These were 3-pounders, they're not the 16-pounders.
That's true, not
big
the
ones.
16, this is a 3-pounder, yeah, that's the small one, yeah, I got that. We're here all week, I understand.